Hey everyone, so I'm back with another video for our Mars sign series. Today I'll be talking about Mars in Pisces. If you're new here, my name's Melissa. Please subscribe to my channel to learn more about astrology. If you have an idea or suggestion for a new series I should be starting after this one ends, which will actually be ending with this video, please go ahead and let me know in the comments. Or if you have any other video suggestions like tags or challenges or just any kind of random stuff like that, I'm open to doing that as well. And also, if you have never looked up your birth chart ever before, if you're new to astrology and you only know your sun sign or your zodiac sign, please go ahead and click on the link that I provided in all of my videos to look up your birth chart. You can do it for free, and you'll need to know your birth time and place to do that, and you'll be able to know your Mars sign, and you can look up the video I've done for your particular Mars sign once you find out what that is, as well as your Mercury and your Venus, which I've also already done videos for. But for today's video, we're going to be talking about Mars and what does Mars signify in the birth chart. Your Mars is all about how you take action. It's all about how you direct yourself and follow through with a plan of action. Are you a planner? Are you more spontaneous? Are you more of a feeler? You like to intuit your way through a situation or through conflict. It's about how you deal with conflict, how you deal with confrontation. Are you brave enough to stand up for yourself and pick a fight when you need to? Do you retreat, or what do you do? Do you use your wits? Do you use your verbal skills to stand up for yourself? Mars also describes the way you express your anger, and it describes your sexuality. It describes every person's masculine side. Everyone has a feminine and masculine to them, and so Mars plays a large part in discussing each person's masculinity. So with Mars in Pisces, what is it like to have your Mars in Pisces, and what does it mean? Well, Pisces is water sign, and it's ruled by Jupiter and Neptune, so it's also a mutable sign. Mars in Pisces can be very go with the flow, very much open to new plans of action. They are not the biggest planners at all. In fact, they would rather kind of go and sort of feel their way through a situation or through conflict to try to figure out what to do next. And sometimes the Mars in Pisces can almost try to avoid making a decision or avoid the conflict altogether, or the person that they have a conflict with, because they dislike confrontation very much, and they don't want to hurt people's feelings. They don't want people not liking them. They don't want to make things messy or get on people's bad sides. The Mars in Pisces will express that sort of avoidant behavior by kind of dodging people's questions, or trying to avoid making a decision, or trying to avoid having to be a leader, having to stand up for themselves. And the way that they might defend themselves is probably through just avoiding the situation altogether, or the person, or avoiding conflict. And so a Mars in Pisces might easily brush things under the rug, or just kind of swim away as fast as possible, whatever means they might resort to for doing that, or try to escape, use forms of escape to avoid the problem. A Mars in Pisces can also resort to manipulation to getting what they want, or it's incredibly subtle though. They're going to be doing things or trying to get their way through very subtle and sneaky ways. It's almost you don't always know exactly what they're up to or what their next move is going to be. Mars in Pisces can have this way of just doing things in an underhanded, secretive way, where they might mess with your mind a little bit and play psychological games with you. That is one strong point that they might have, is just getting into your psyche, and it's not even through things that they say outwardly or directly at you. They have a way of kind of messing with your subconscious that might be different for each and every individual, so it's a bit difficult to explain in concrete terms, because Mars in Pisces does not operate or direct itself in concrete ways or in ways that always make sense to every person. You know, they don't deal with hard evidence or facts or logic. You know, they are very much in tune with dreams and like the psychic world and just, you know, the unconscious mind and unconscious behavior. And so I feel that they will have an advantage in understanding people's motivations, understanding why people do things or the emotional factors behind their motivation, and just analyzing that part of each and every person and knowing why, even without words being said. It's like they just know. Mars in Pisces can be highly psychic because of that, and just, or psychic, intuitive, whatever it is that you want to call it. They have that ability to just read people really, really well. And so they can really use that to their advantage when it comes to standing up for themselves, or when they have to like direct themselves in some sort of situation or handle some type of conflict. A Mars in Pisces can really use that ability of just understanding people, you know, without knowing much about them really, to get their way and to manipulate a situation so that it turns into their favor. Mars in Pisces is not going to like go for their own goals very directly or very like obviously. Whatever it is that gets in their way, they're able to be so flexible that they can easily maneuver around the situation or around the obstacle to get there. And they have no problem with changing their plans, changing their strategy to get there. And Mars in Pisces can really like appear unbothered, or if you try to like attack them or bother them in any way, they can just appear unaffected. And because they're so go with the flow and they're so just accepting of whatever like the universe has to throw at them, they see a reason for everything, and you know, just this bigger picture perspective of like why things have to happen or why certain people are the way that they are, and they don't try to fight against the current of what happens, or they don't try to fight against the currents of life and whatever the universe throws at them. Basically, what motivates them is their compassion and desire to understand people, desire to merge with everybody, and their desire to be one with every person that they encounter and almost lose themselves. You know, Pisces is the sign of all about losing the ego and like dissolving the identity so that everybody can be included. Everyone and the universe can just be whole, be one giant collective. Pisces knows what it means to join with others and not leave a single soul out. They understand how people are connected and how life and certain situations are connected, and they have a good understanding that life is not about the self and it's not about your own desires, which can sort of make this a paradox when it comes to the natural energy of Mars, because Mars is all about your ego's desires, and it's about being selfish and like getting what you want no matter what it takes, no matter if you have to hurt people. And Pisces is a sign that is just not about that at all, and it's almost the exact opposite. Pisces doesn't know how to just follow their own desires, and because it's the last sign, Pisces actually embodies all the characteristics of every sign before it, all the 11 signs. And so it really stands for and is symbolic of the universe and everybody. And so if you are everybody, then how do you know like what you really are and what you really truly authentically stand for? And this is what makes them quite the opposite of Aries, which is about the self. It's about the identity, the ego, and knowing who I am and what I stand for and what I'm going to fight for. Because Aries is the first, Pisces is the last. Pisces puts itself last, and because it understands other people's needs and desires more than its own. A huge part of what creates Pisces is the whole, is the collective. So how does that even play out as a Mars sign? What are you motivated by? Just the need to connect with others and to be that bridge, to be that connection between each soul. And their way of going after their own desires is by denying themselves, denying their own ego and identity, and just, forgetting about their own selfish needs, caring more for others. They can be healers, they can be helpers and just givers. They can be motivated by their own compassion to just give to others and be there for them, and to be the one who just understands everyone with an open heart and with so much compassion, more than anybody you'll ever meet. What does their anger look like? Mars is also representative of how you express your anger. So a Mars in Pisces will be very slow to anger. They can be one of those that are slow building as far as their anger is concerned, and so you don't really see it coming when it's at that boiling point. But they do have one, and they do have area where you have crossed the line and they won't stand for it. And when it shows up, it's like it kind of takes you by surprise, because normally they're just so chill and they're so it doesn't really seem like they would hurt anyone ever. But a Mars in Pisces, when they've had enough, they can go behind other people's backs. They can hurt you subconsciously. They can mess with your mind. They will avoid you for the most part physically, and again, like, appear unaffected and just unbothered by you. Mars in Pisces can be a little bit confused as far as where they're going. What is their plan and what is the strategy? A Mars in Pisces won't always have these details carefully planned out. They are more likely to just play it by ear and just go with the flow, like whatever happens, and I can handle it. I can just swim around it, and just, not everything really needs to be set in stone. I'm open to adventure. I'm open to new possibilities. So whatever that might be, let's just go with it and see what happens. That's what a Mars in Pisces their strategy would be, if you want to call it that. They don't always need to know the answers. Somehow they just already know. They just already can sense it with that sixth sense that they have. It's just not everything needs to be thought through. Sometimes it can just be felt. A Mars in Pisces can easily get those flashes of intuition or those visions of just what exactly is going on. And so they're a little bit different from other people in that way, and that they don't always need things to be like spelled out so clearly for them, or there doesn't always need to be like a timestamp on everything that happens, or that might be essential for some people, but Pisces is not a planner, and Pisces is just living in chaos, and they're fine with that. It can be confusing. It can be like this big huge mess of just chaos and lack of clarity because of the way that they handle things, of just being a little bit disorganized and like not always knowing what's happening or like the details of every situation. This can make them easily lost, easily confused, and just sort of lacking in direction sometimes. It's really their heart that guides them. Mars in Pisces, it's their heart and their compassion and their intuition that is what drives them and helps them on the right path. A Mars in Pisces sexuality is going to be super romantic. It's going to be, it might be traditional, it might be very like slow to get there and slow to like build up. They are not super physical. They're definitely going to be like your emotional soundboard. So like if you were like stressed out during the day and like come home and meet with your Mars in Pisces, they might be like, oh, just let me have all of that and let me like take care of it and be that emotional support for you. And they might play that particular role in sex, so they can be very like loving and giving in that way. And giving is another like huge part of Mars and Pisces sexuality, is just being the submissive, being the giver. They want you to know what you want and like be the one in control so that they can just follow. And Mars and Pisces is probably not going to be super like direct or open or like brave with whatever it is that they want at the moment. So they're probably going to rely on you most of the time to just take the lead and tell them what it is that you want, and they'd be very glad to help you out and provide whatever it is that you're looking for. Mars in Pisces is also sexually, they might be a little bit moody and just like here 1 second and gone the next. That you can take that literally or figuratively, but they might be there for you like mentally 1 minute, and then like the next they're just kind of like off in their daydreams and like imagining other things that could be happening. They have a huge imagination. They can be super creative, and again, they're going to be very open to whatever ideas you might have, or they might come up with some of their own. Whatever it is, they have to feel like they can connect with you emotionally. Like sex will be a very like spiritual experience for both of you. They're going to try to connect with you in a spiritual sense, and just they're going to try to use their intuition to know what it is that you want and what it is that they can do better and what it is that you like, basically. Mars and Pisces will probably not really like routine so much because their style is very giving and very compassionate. Mars and Pisces might try to spread that compassion towards everybody, sexually speaking, if you know what I mean, and just be there for everyone that needs their help. So they might provide assistance to other people in that way. I feel like Mars and Pisces will be able to detach themselves, detach like their heart from sex, from like their body, and just, you know, separate the physical act from like getting too attached to the person. Because Pisces is all about the universal, it's about everybody, and it's not like tied down to one thing or one specific idea. So in their sexuality, it's going to be just about them giving to everybody, not really being exclusive to just one person. It's easy for them to just share themselves with everyone, and out of compassion, out of just being a free spirit, basically. That's about it for my Mars and Pisces video. What are your thoughts? I'd love to know them. If you are Mars and Pisces, what did you think? And if I've missed out on anything at all in discussing Mars and Pisces, please let me know in the comments. And again, if you would like to see something specific on my channel, please let me know as well, so that I have some sort of idea of what you're interested in. And if you want, you can also let me know your suggestions at on my blog at lunarcappy.tumblr.com. Give this video a like if you found it informative or helpful in any way. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.